Okay, so you should be able to see the screen now. I'm just trying. There we go. So within your module, underneath your regular menu, you always have this course management section. And what you do is open up the course tools section and go into the tests, surveys, and pools. And we're going to go into pools. So rather than creating your test first, we're going to create our pool of questions first. So I click into pools. You'll see any ones that you have that are pre-existing, and you'll always have this option to build a pool. So I'm going to click on build pool, and you just give it a title. So I'm just going to say colors and submit. And at this point then you're now adding your questions to that pool. So you'd add in whatever you want. And I would recommend you create, 3 or 4 pools for the topics that it is you're wanting to ask the students, so that, if you just created one pool and you're asking them 20 out of 50 questions, they might get 20 questions related to golf when really you wanted them to get a few questions from each area. So you're better off to split them up. So I'm just going to add in a couple of questions in here, just sample questions. I have the other 2 pools set up. This guy is blue. And I'm going to say submit and create another. So I'll just add these in really quickly. One more. Okay. So now I've added my questions to that pool. So you'll see now if I come back to the test surveys and pools and go into pools, you'll see I now have 3 in there. Okay, and you can add in however many questions you want into each pool. If I want to edit the pool, I can just click the drop down and say edit. I do always have the option to copy it, and I can paste it into another module, or I can export it to a local computer and import it into a different module. So I'm going to say edit, and this shows you all of the questions. You can fill in this section here, how many points is each question worth. So, I could just put in 10 and update, for instance. Okay, I forgot to select the boxes. So you can give each question different points if you want, but just for this example, I'm going to say they're all worth 10. And I'm going to click OK, and I'm just going to do the same thing then for my other 2 as well. So I'll say these questions are actually worth 5. And I'll put these in at 5 as well. So at this point now I have my pools created, so now I want to actually create my test. So I go to just the content area, wherever it is you're wanting to build. I'm going to assessments and test, and then just clicking create. Give your test a name. And then this is the page you're probably all used to seeing, and you've been coming in here and saying create question. What we're going to do now is use this reuse question area, and we're going to come to the create a question set. You can do create a random block, and I will look it up afterwards and send it to you. There's a reason, there's a very slight difference between the 2, and I know my preference always was create a question set. So if I click into that, it's going to bring you to this page, and it's going to show you kind of a bunch of different things. So what you can do is either look at the pools which we have created, so you'll see all the different options on the left. If you had different tests in your module that you'd already created, so you might have questions that already exist, well then you can click the drop down here and click on a different test, and whatever questions were in that test would appear on the right hand side. So the same way, if I click pools, if I choose color, then you'll see the questions that appear over here. So when you're adding the set, you select what it is you want first. When your questions appear on the right hand side, then you select all of the questions that are in that area and then click submit. So I've selected the 3 questions in that block or the set, and here then you'll see total questions 3. How many questions do I want to display? So that's where you change it to however many you want. So I'm going to say display 2 out of the 3 questions to the students. So now it's random. The students are getting different questions, but you know that they're getting 2 of that topic. And then I would do the same thing for my next pool. So, I could come to golf then and click submit and do the same thing here. I could say, actually, I only want them to have 1 of those 3 questions, and you just keep going at that point. So it's a good way of ensuring that the students are getting all the questions that you want them to get. So I'll submit that last one, and I'll change that then to 2 questions out of that set. Okay, so I'll click OK, and that's going to bring me back to this create a test page. So I click on my test 2, which I just created, and submit, and then I'm brought to the normal kind of test options page. So you'd go through all of those options. I'm not going to kind of focus on them now. I'll just fill in a couple so that I can show you what it looks like at the end. Okay. So there's my test now. The students won't really know any different when they click into the test. Their questions are just going to appear one after the other. So they're not going to know that they were added from sets, but you are ensuring then that students are receiving a random selection of questions from each topic that you've created.